everybody. I'm George.
And I'm Bob. We're the Shipping Goblins from Beetle and Grips. Today, we're going to talk about the amazing Map Vault Collection. And with the Map Vault Collection, you get a bunch of gorgeous two-sided maps, all scaled for standard minis.
Yeah, get yours now for the Map Vault Collection from Beetle and Grim, and all the players at your table will be revved up and hyper because the only thing they'll be able to say is...
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Zoinks!
Yeah, do it again.
Zoinks!
Hello?
Who do you think you are?
Yes, Mr. Lillard.
You're just some common.
Yes, sir.
You can't just go off and use my
It's your
voice
thing.
like that. I have rights.
Completely. We just thought...
Wait,
okay.
I'm gonna take this right to
yes,
the
sir.
Beetle. Hey, Grim.
Thank you, sir.
What happened?
Matthew Lillard watches our show!
Zoinks!
Double
Hello, we're here. I think we're here. Anyway, hi, welcome to Band of Badgers. I'm Dave, your host for this evening, and this is the Great British Brush Off. Hello, thank you. These are my guests. How are we doing, guests?
Good, thank you very much.
All right.
Ready to go.
Oh, there we go. He's unmuted himself.
Yeah. I've got one of the kids down to tell me which button I like to press on the back.
There you go. Welcome to our returning special guest artist, Jake Noorman from Mini Terrain Domain. Hello, Jake.
Hello, Jake.
I've got you over there as well. I've got you on two screens, so I can see you twice. Now, joining us around the table is Sharon. Sharon, you'll know, is one of our badgers, and also in our Runelords campaign. So, again, when we've done season 1 of the Brush Off, loads of badgers got in touch and said, well, I want to come and paint some minis. Fine. Everyone's been learning new skills over the pandemic during the global lockdown, so why not? We've got some spare seats. Come and join in. Thank you, as always, to our supporters, Beetle and Grims, to WizKids, to VMuse, and also a special thank you to Vallejo Paints, who have fantastic paints. That's what we use. Now, thank you to all of our various supporters and discounts. You can't see it below me because that's Steve below me, but Jake over there on your screen, not on the Zoom screen. Below Jake, you'll find all these various supporters with various discounts to save you a few quid on whatever they want, whatever they provide. But most of all, thank you for watching, thank you for supporting. If you would like to support us, you can. We're on Twitch, obviously, so any kind of Twitch Prime subs you want to happily donate, we can do that. So bring everything on. Just bring it on. Bring it all on. We can take it. I'm sure we can. As you know, Brush Off is now turned to weekly. It used to be fortnightly. Season 2 is now weekly. We'll be doing this for the next 6 weeks. This is week 2. So we have lots more special guests and loads more minis to paint and loads of fun stuff going on. Now, where is it? Schedule-wise? Okay, so Band of Badgers schedule this week. Today is Monday. That means we got the Great British Brush Off. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I've been learning this. We're on
the days of the week.
Days of the week. Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday is our back to our Vazen campaign. Vazen. Which is part of our free league. Wednesday, not too sure what's going on Wednesday. We might be doing an unboxing. We might not. We're just going to tease. We're going to tease it. We have to wait and see. Thursday, we're back with our Runelords campaign. Friday, we might be doing Exalted. We still need to work that out and do a lot of things. So Sunday afternoon, however, you may have seen it yesterday, because today's Monday.
Well done, Dave. Still days of the week down.
To be fair, lockdown has made the days of the week very
redundant.
I mean, more than a year has flown past living in this box. So this coming not last Sunday, but this coming Sunday afternoon, join us for what we're calling Badger Hammer. Badger Hammer, 40k. Okay, so it's not hitting badgers with hammers, which is just something that popped in my head there.
Almost as bad as poking badgers with spoons.
Yes. Don't do that either.
I feel like we should open up something on Discord to name that show.
We came up with a bunch of different names, but they were all.
And you went for that one.
Yeah.
The rest of them.
Badger Hammer.
Because it was
It is Badger Hammer 40 quid. That's what it should be, not Badger Hammer 40k. And Sunday evening, join us again. We are back. It is. We are back with our Vampire the Masquerade campaign. So check us all out for the rest of the week. We are not yet streaming 7 days a week, but we will get there soon.
We are close.
May is going to be crazy. So join us in May. Now, anyway, today on the Great British Brush Off, we are doing the we are painting the Human Female Cleric, which is part of the Paizo Deepcuts WizKids line. I already opened mine because I didn't cheat like Joe.
Well, you kind of did.
Call me out.
I opened mine during an unboxing video of a bunch of WizKids minis, which you can check out on our YouTube channel. You see how everything links, just like there were links everywhere for all this. But I was going to say, contestants, start your engines. You may now crack open your minis, and I will hand over to pro artist Jake Noorman, who is the man, the legend, and he's got a big fucking X on the bookcase behind him. But we'll talk about that later.
Well, it is absolutely a pleasure to be with you all again. Eventually, you'll figure out I have no idea what I'm doing. I just make this up as I go. But for now, let's make things up together.
You are in very good company, so that's perfectly fine.
Best way to do things, isn't it?
Yeah, that's, one of the other members of MTD, Big Bearded Nerd, who I believe is going to be here next week.
Yes, he is.
He does a lot of mini painting on his show, and we also have, coming back this summer, we do mini painting on our mini terrain domain channel, the Beards and Brushes, we call it. That's pretty much what our tagline is. We have no idea what we're doing. We're just making it up as we go. Of course, the more we do this, the less we can make that claim that we don't know what we're doing. All right. So we have two versions of the cleric. I assume as everybody's been staring at their packs, except for Joe, who opened his early and got a jump start, that you kind of got an idea of which one of the two you're going to go for. One of the things that I really like about these packs that WizKids does with the two minis in them is you look at them and you think, okay, well, I got two different versions of a human female cleric in this particular set. But when you look really close at them, they're actually a low-level version of the character and a high-level version of the character. And I really like that you have that, so you can kind of play for the, your first 10 levels with the one, or however many levels you want. You can do what you want with them. I'm not telling you what to do, but this is how I look at it. You play with the first several levels with the one mini, and then you upgrade it to the other one as you go along. I'm going to be painting the one with this awesome giant swirl of flame and the cape that's flowing behind them, which would be the low level one.
Really? I thought that was the high level, actually.
Maybe. It has a lot less armor on it than the other one does.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Which is what made me think that this was the low level. This is the other level, we'll call that. Yep. The alternate level character. one of the things I really like about the Pathfinder Deepcuts in particular is the poses are so dynamic. They look like they're in motion. So yeah, I guess we've got a limited amount of time to start painting these. My approach with this, if you remember from last time, I went in and I just black palmed everything. I put all kinds, put the black base coat down and then started let that dry and then started hitting it up with color. But these are pre-primed. I'm not going to do that today. There's a lot of fine details in here I don't want to lose. So what I do is I start at the lowest levels and work my way up, which in this case would be starting with the flesh tones and starting to work back out all the way out to the cape. And I'm going to save that fire effect for last. We sort of did that last time with our fire elementals.
Yeah, that's right.
And all three of you, Joe and Steve in particular, I think hit on this very interesting way of doing the fire elementals that I want to see. I'll be looking at that as I judge later on to see if you carry over a similar technique into this sort of swirling flame effect that's going on here.
Need to remember what I did now.
Right? Put you on the spot. See, I waited until we were live to say that. I am also going to put on my Artificer goggles here because, as I said, I have old man eyes. I can barely see this mini without using the magnifier. Does anybody have any questions or anything about this as we go into it?
Are you going to be?
I probably don't know what it is, but I'll make up an answer.
Are you going to be sticking to the paint scheme on the back, or are you going to be sort of?
I think for this one, yeah. That was the colors we sort of gave out was based on the paint scheme that is on the back of the box. For those that are interested, this is based on one of the iconic characters from Pathfinder, Kira. So there's a lot of primarily blue, white, and gold with some black going on in there. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be working on.
Just to so we had some questions already in chat, and yes, the idea is we are all painting the same mini. So myself, Steve, and Joe, we're all amateurs. I'm going to put Sharon in the same box as well.
I am definitely an amateur.
So Jake is here literally as pro artist. The idea is that we all paint the same mini, and at the end of the 2 hours, Jake will judge us, and we'll award the gold star painter to one of us, and then you as the audience, the live audience, along with Sharon, will get to pick the runner-up. And it's just a hangout, paint some minis, have a chit chat.
No pressure, but if I
I
pick the wrong person, then Yelena might die on Thursday.
Yes.
Or Yelena might not get buffed by Elias.
This comment. Oh wait, this is a show where they get the stars at the end. I love this show.
Oh yeah, that's Acerson from floats around the MTD community. Hello to everyone, by the way, that's joining us today. Also, in case anybody's wondering, the first thing I've done before even putting paint to this is I grabbed my X-Acto knife and I am removing a couple. My particular sculpt has a couple of thick mold lines on it.
I think mine's got one on the underside of the cape.
Yep.
Yeah, the one that you would say is the higher level one. I was actually looking at it, and it's actually pretty good. There's one that was on the sort of back of the head, but other than that, it's
yep. So they make special tools, real fine tools you can use for removing those. But an X-Acto blade, kind of like treating it like shaving, you just sort of almost perpendicular. You just sort of drag it across there and get rid of that mold line, and should be good to go. So yeah, I am All right, I am going to grab. I'm going to start with the skin tone. Today I decided to use. Did I grab my flesh tone? I decided to use all Vallejo model color today. If you remember last time, I was using craft paint as well. But yeah, I chose to use all Vallejo model colors today to kind of challenge myself a little bit too.
Cool. I was going to mix things up, so I'm going a little bit off script. I am. I found this one, which was bronze flesh tone.
That's
So I
what
thought-
I'm using.
All right, so it says
nice.
flesh tone, so I thought I'd try that.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's, we say flesh tone, which they really need to rename some of these. And I know Vallejo calls this pale flesh, because as we know, there's an entire spectrum of flesh tones throughout, all of humans. There's a wonderful website that's, I think you can look it up, Human Skin Pantones, and there's hundreds of photographs of people with varying degrees of skin tones, and they've assigned a Pantone color to it. So you can color match those, more so in graphic design, artistry, things like that, but would work here too, for getting a more bronze tone for a character like this. I'm going to be using a flesh wash, which is going to pick out a lot of the extra details in the shadowy areas, and I think that's also going to give it a little almost a tan look to it.
Mm-hmm. So you're literally going straight in and just painting. What we got? We got exposed face, upper arms, hands.
A little bit of the chest, I think. The neck and chest is exposed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about starting with these low areas is that as you go up into the higher levels, you can paint over where you don't have to worry as much about the overpainting. Like right now, I'm not too concerned about getting into the hairline and stuff like that. I love washes and dry brushing because in early stages of painting, it's just an easy way to get a lot of detail on your minis.
Yeah. And by the way, for anyone in the audience, if you have questions, don't be shy. Just put the word question in large capitals for me, and then write your question. So it gives us a better chance, because obviously we're looking down, we're painting, so we're not looking at the screens. So anything you can do to help. You can use your channel bits, your channel points, to highlight your message. That'd be even better.
We're not sure, trust us.
This arm with the sword appears to be a little flexible. I'm trying to move it out of the way without breaking it.
Have you ever had minis that just break?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, okay.
I actually sometimes will deliberately break mini. If it's going to be too difficult to get to certain details, I'll either break at a assembly point, or I will cut with a set of cutters.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with the cutters because they'll pinch a little bit, which can deform your connection point. And if you do have to, like for instance, if I was going to cut this sword off of this particular mini, I would go for the wrist or just above that brace, somewhere that there's already a natural connection point, so it's not as obvious when you put it back together. It's easier to hide it. This one, and WizKids has been really good about recognizing when certain models need to have a softer plastic. At least I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be, the need in painting it to move something like that. But yeah, I've broken things off of their bases, like an example is the flumps. They come with these new sort of swooping clear bases, and it's just too there's too much detail around the tentacles of the flump that I needed the base to be off of there, so I just popped them off.
Cool.
Forgot I gave myself made a little handle here, make it easier to hold. Does any of your models, do you have where they're holding the holy symbol that's generating all the fire, where there's a buildup of the primer?
No.
I'm wondering if I just got
I did notice that the sleeve of mine's missing some primer. So,
if I were being judged, I would have used that as an excuse. Try to get leniency. Conversely, I would not accept that as an excuse for me, because I'm all about double standards, apparently.
So Jake, the last time you was on the brush off, we were talking about your streams and the other stuff that you do, and how I kind of stumbled onto you, and everything's kind of gone full circle. The
misguided soul.
Yeah, exactly. I saw your teaser trailer for your new upcoming stream.
Yeah.
Very nice. Are you able to tease anything about that at the moment?
So, yeah, I absolutely can. The main reason we're delaying release, or rather the start of that campaign, is because in just about 3 weeks, we're kicking off our week-long Jasper's Game Week charity event.
Yep.
So we wanted to wait until right after that. But yeah, we're launching a new campaign. We still have our regular Thursday full-length campaign, our Dawnbringers game, going on.
Yep.
For a long time yet. But I like to run at least 2 games, 2 full campaigns at a time. And I've been going through withdrawals, not having a second game. And the new Candlekeep Mysteries came out from Wizards of the Coast. Now, what's interesting is Candlekeep Mysteries is not actually a full. It's not a campaign setting book.
No, that's
it is
short
an
stories,
anthology.
Yeah.
And it's a series of 17 adventures set in and around the Candlekeep Library that involve. Traditionally, you would drop it into your campaign or use it for a short thing, where your players are looking for a particular thing. So they go research it at the library, and then they discover this book, and it leads on to whatever adventures.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, you know what? I'm going to turn this whole thing into a cohesive campaign. And so we've been working on it. We had our session 0 a little over a week ago. One of the players has a friend that they're commissioning art for the characters from.
Nice.
And we are launching on May 17th, Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries.
Yep.
And it will be entirely based around Candlekeep. Obviously, there'll be adventures outside of Candlekeep. But this is one, because of the anthology nature, I do not have a clear idea of what the central focus is going to be. I have some general notes, but I'm a very improvisational DM, and I am going to in the early sessions, let the choices and decisions the players make sort of form what are those key things going to be. Plus, and I think this is very spoiler free. One of the allures of Candlekeep. Man, those arms are almost forgot our arms there, Bear. One of the allures of Candlekeep is, or the cool things about it is, in order to gain admittance into the library, you have to present the library with a book that they do not have in their collection.
Yep.
And so I've asked the players, I've given them full discretion to create whatever that book is. Give it a title,
are you going to turn
give it a
around and
description.
say like, yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if any of my players from Avernus are in here, but we ran the session 0 for Avernus, and they had to go into Candlekeep. And I had it that the NPC that they were with was this sort of lummoxing, sort of half ogre type creature that had a colouring book that he gave to them, and they were like, "Well, we don't have it in the library." So it kind of fits in with, our rules, so we kind of got to let you in.
Loophole found and exploited.
Yeah. So yeah, and I already know from talking to a couple of the players independently and what they're planning to do with their book, that that simple choice is actually going to have ramifications, consequences, or just results throughout the campaign.
Cool.
So yeah, we're really excited about it. It's going to be a brand new, starting at level 1, and our plan is to take it all the way to level 20. So it'll probably be a
nice.
2 to 3 year campaign. We'll be running it weekly.
Wow.
And the nice thing about running an anthology like that is it breaks into seasons fairly well. Instead of doing seasons, though, we're going to do books. So each new adventure is a new book in our campaign series. And then the sessions are called chapters.
That's nice.
I just saw... Yeah, see, Cole, that's why I'm not giving away secrets. Because people like you that say you're going to pass on everything to my players. I know, Cole. Looks like there was a question for me.
Yeah, it was. Do you ever use spray primer, or is that more of a batch painting technique from Sean DW?
I do use spray primer. It depends on what I'm painting, and I do tend to do it in batches. I actually have several minis in my 2 paint pile over here that were part of a batch priming, and I tend to do it with things that don't have as much detail, like something like this, just because it can be a challenge to get the spray primer down into all the nooks and crannies. I prefer, and I mentioned this last time I was on, I prefer to use a flat black. I actually use, not a sponsor, from Stuart Semple. I use Black 2.0. They have a 3.0 now. It's an ultra black. It's supposed to be super light absorbing, but it just looks to me like it looks a lot like this background I'm using. This sort of matte board. But it has a little bit of a texture to it, and that's what I really like about it as a primer. But yeah, I have no problem using spray primer, especially when I'm painting 3D printed items, because it's a whole different type of plastic.
You do a lot of terrain as well, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So painting terrain, that's like spray surely as well.
So that can be tricky, and you gotta be careful about it, because if you're working with foam, a lot of the chemicals that are in the accelerant for the spray cans will dissolve the foam.
Okay.
But what you can do is you can take, like Black Magic Craft, you take Black Magic Craft is a YouTuber and probably one of the biggest crafting YouTubers on YouTube. And you take your Mod Podge and you mix in just a little bit of gray or black with your primer. And then you coat your entire foam model with that. Give it 1 or 2 coats of that to seal in all of the foam. Then you can spray it as much as you want. It's not going to do any damage. Where's everybody at on their clerics?
Flesh cone is done, I think.
Just realised that I'm not even painting underneath my camera.
Mostly, I just want to know how far behind I am. I get to talking, and I can't chew gum and walk at the same time, apparently. Sure, I got that. I just finished up the flesh tone, and I'm going to go ahead and apply this wash to the face.
I'm the one that's got the sword at the top. Do you know what this flick of thing at the back is? Is that part of their cloak? Not quite sure.
Yeah, it's the scarf.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the scarf.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm seeing what you're talking about.
The one with the sword. Not the one you're holding. It's the other one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yes,
scarf.
It's a scarf.
You know what, though? Yeah, I guess it could be the scarf. I almost think that could be hair coming out from underneath the scarf, too. But I guess that goes against what the whole headdress is. Well, you paint it what you think it is, and then that's what it is.
Yes.
So you're literally just painting a wash, like a flesh wash or something, onto
Yep,
the face.
It's exactly what it's called. And then what I'm doing is after I get it in there, I'm cleaning the brush off a little bit and then dabbing it in to reabsorb some of that. So it's not so thick because this flesh wash sat down in the eye socket so thick that it looks like she's wearing sunglasses. Yeah, that just helps to pick out some of the detail a little bit and bring it back in. It's also changing the tone of the skin a little bit.
So is the flesh wash the red based one?
Yeah, it's this 73.204. It's just called Flesh Wash. From Vallejo Game Wash.
So because Dave and I have gone for a bronze flesh tone, would you go as dark as putting a sepia wash on it, or would you still stick with the flesh wash?
I considered that. My concern would be that you would. I mean, you could almost just test it out on something else and just see what happens with it. But I was concerned that it would almost give it a jaundiced look.
Right. Yeah.
And it might not. It might look great. And you got me curious about it. So I think what I'm going to do is, because I'm curious about it, I'm going to grab a brush here. Grab some of this flesh. Deliberately stippling a little bit here on my painting mat. Give it a little bit of texture. And then Yeah, when that dries in a minute, I'll throw some sepia wash over it. We'll see what it does. It's always good if you've got minis on the side that you haven't painted yet, or maybe you got a couple minis that are just for the purpose of testing, and you just try it out if you're curious. I mean, we've said before that when you're painting, it's just paint. If you make a mistake, you can just paint over it.
My stream is dropping in and out at the moment, so
Your Zoom or your stream?
my Zoom and my stream and everything.
It's all going wrong.
Are you all plugged in, Steve?
Baron said that if it does look jaundiced, you can just say they're a bit ill.
I'm fighting too hard.
Yeah, they're taking a level of exhaustion.
I think we talked about it last time, but you know, if you make a mistake, you can always just clean your minis and start again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the best way of taking the paint off a mini if you have made a mistake?
If you're to the point where you're going to take it off completely, a lot of people will use a solution of simple green, which I don't know. Is that something you guys have over there?
No, in the UK we use is it terps or what's the purple stuff?
Oh yeah, purple stuff.
Methylated spirits. Yeah.
On minis?
Yeah.
That would be
plastic.
Yeah, and then you just take a toothbrush to it and it comes off.
Huh. Depending on how bad the mistake is, if you haven't lost any detail, I might just go over what's already there, reprime it, and really fine details can be lost if you do that. So you kind of got to make your decision on how you want to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of different things. Easy to look up online if you need to do that on how to remove the paint. It's generally going to be soaking and then taking a toothbrush or something to it. All right. With as much black as she has on her outfit, I might have been better off doing a black prime. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use black paint. I don't want to use gloss though.
Is that for the legs?
Legs and the torso. She seems to have some sort of like a bodysuit almost on.
Doesn't fight in a bodysuit. That's the best way to go.
Because everybody knows how good a bodysuit is for your armor class, right?
Oh, totally. It's right up there with your chainmail bikini.
Right.
Twin those two together, you're practically unstoppable.
I'm going to put a little sepia wash on this flesh tone I put down on my paint mat. And that could work for just looking at what it's doing color wise. It doesn't appear to have gone yellowy. Yeah, it would look good for a I don't know what you'd call that, like a pale brown tone skin, and depending on how thick you put it on. So basically putting it on thicker or lighter with the regular pale flesh tone with the sepia, you have a range of sort of brownish skin tones you can apply there. So, yeah. Oops. All right.
Show us Jake. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see if you zoomed in right on that. I don't think you'd better pick
No,
up the
I
detail.
can't really. It's just a small patch here on the painting surface, so it's. And I don't think my color balance is great on this particular camera. See, what I need to do is use the good camera I use for my.
It was blocked by your name, all right, on the Zoom screen. All right.
I did not realize that. Well, it would still just look like a little light-colored patch.
Yeah.
That's a light-colored patch there. All right. Now, the one thing I do like about a model like this with the areas of black on the legs and torso, and that there's a lot of this gold, is I love the look of gold and black together. Gold is one of my favorite colors to paint with. Dave, you said you were going off script a little bit. What were you? And you. I know you'd mentioned with the flesh tone, but were you doing anything, or is anybody doing anything different with the color scheme for their mini?
Not yet. Not yet. That was just about the. It's only because I picked up a different kind of flesh tone. So I thought I'd try that. She's looking a bit orange at the moment, so I think I might have to do more of a wash.
I have gone off script. I'm not doing black trousers. I've gone with leather trousers and darker brown for the boots because I like the brown and the blue together. But I will pick out the black and gold accents on the armor pieces. I'm actually thinking about doing the cloak a different colour, but I can't decide what.
I've gone with grey for the trousers and bodysuit. And black.
Now, I was talking with somebody recently about this, and I had mentioned when I was on last time, even though we didn't paint the earth elementals, I talked about how I approached that with using sort of a darker tan color, and then I go over that with a umber wash, and then I go over that with a sepia wash to get this sort of earthy earth elemental rather than stone to get more earth tones. I actually use an almost identical technique for leather because you can use the same color scheme, but the details that you're putting those color on will sort of dictate how you interpret it as leather or as earth. And then if you're getting really into it, you can, there's things you can do with using different shades, adding lighter tones to pick out highlights and stuff like that.
You mentioned earlier you're going to be taking part in Jasper's Game Day. Is that when is that? Is that the first week of May or the second week, or before?
First week, I actually am the host and producer of the most of it. It originated with our channel 3 years ago.
Cool. Well
Um,
done.
it's a week-long event. This year we've expanded to include starting on April 30th and May 1st. D&D Beyond are hosting several games.
Nice.
And then on May 2nd through the 7th, we have 6 days with 4 games each day happening on my channel on twitch.tv/mini-terrain domain. And then the 8th, 9th, and 10th, Paizo is hosting on a channel. I can't recall the exact channel at the moment, but a bunch of Pathfinder games. And then we have some friends at the Meeple and Dragon, I believe it is, Meeples and Dragons in the UK or in Australia,
yeah.
that are going to be running some events in the off hours while we're sleeping.
Yep. And we will be
So-
joining Australia because it'll be our breakfast time.
Perfect.
So it's our first time doing it as well. So we're really looking forward to it. That's myself, Steve, and Joe. We will be taking part. We're all on different tables as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's our first time doing that.
Yeah, we started in 2018 with what was supposed to be originally we were going to do a 24-hour event. Then we started getting a bunch of people involved, and we turned it into a week-long event. And we raised almost $6,000 for Jasper's game day.
Cool.
And we wound up the next year. Sorry, that was in 2019, not 2018. And then 2020, of course, everything changed with COVID shutting everything down. And we, working with Fenway from Jasper's, we were able to get a lot of the people that were celebrities and stuff that had agreed to do in-person events. Since there were no in-person events, we were able to get them to come on the stream. And we raised, between the actual stream, which we raised $22,000, we also did auctions and raffles for a variety of things, including seats at some of those celebrity tables. And all of that combined, we raised about $35,000 last year. We're hoping to break 100,000 this year. Now, all of that money goes towards Jasper's Game Day, which is an organization that is dedicated to education, raising awareness, and ultimately the elimination of suicide through tabletop gaming. It's a wonderful organization.
Yeah, it's really good. Comment saying Chris Perkins as well was not on last year's swoon.
So yeah, that was a huge deal for me. I got to produce that game. Well, I produced all of them last year. I have a team of people helping me this year. I spent 15 hours a day in this chair producing events last year. I have a wonderful team supporting me this year and providing with both Big Bearded Nerd, Dwight, and Jordan from D&D, Jordan Lee. They're both a part of MTD and invaluable in me keeping my sanity during this wonderful but kind of stressful week. And yeah, I got to produce that game with Chris Perkins, and when it was all done, it was around 1 a.m. Eastern time. Of course, he's out in Seattle area, and he stuck around for another half hour and just chatted with me and my son, who was a big fan. Got to say hi to him, and yeah, I got to talk to him for a little while. It was really cool.
Good. You mentioned before you did that, the original plan was to do 24 hours. Have you done that? Have you done many 24-hour games?
No, and I probably won't because I'm realizing I turned 48 this week, and 48-year-old Jake does not have what it takes to stay up for 24 hours straight. That's a younger person's game, or a more daring person's game. I will do dedicated stream events, and we're going to be doing later in the summer. We're going to be doing another Jasper's game, probably a weekend, but it's going to be a community event. So where we'll get a bunch of our mini terrain domain community actually running and playing in the games.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll do some of those kind of things, but yeah, I don't have what it takes to do a full 24 hours. I say that, but if I really wanted to, I probably could. But it would take me a week to recover.
Yeah, you'd need to put a schedule for the rest of the week so you can catch up on some
Right.
sleep.
Exactly.
Because Joe, you're keen to do. I think
Yeah,
we're all keen to do the charity stuff.
Yeah.
I think. But Joe suggested a few times actually to. We should do 24 hours.
Yeah, don't let my lameness dissuade you from doing awesome things. That's 100% my. Sorry, lame was a poor choice of words. My
Reticence.
reticence. That's perfect. Thank you.
That's all right. But if you're doing something, you've got to enjoy it. And if you're not going to enjoy being up for 24 hours, then there's other ways to get involved with charity.
Exactly. All right. I haven't settled on a color for her hair.
Right, we are nearly at the top of the hour. That means we have 45 minutes left.
What? No.
So as I said, I haven't settled on a color for her hair. Make a decision.
Yeah, suddenly you have settled on a colour.
It's the next one that gets pulled out of the palette.
Yeah, it's that one.
Well, see, here's what's lovely about this. I don't have to have mine done by the end of this time. The pressure is on you guys.
Yeah, I
Sharon and I are off
feel
the
like I
hook.
should.
Sharon and I are off the hook. We can just take our time and we'll paint later and finish things up.
Yeah, see, that's what Cole Sparks is saying is kind of what I was thinking. Was we've obviously got, we know people across both sides of the pond. So doing a 24-hour session, you could split it up between a number of different people.
Yeah, and that's actually a great observation from Cole. Is the Jake that was a solo producer back when up until 2 years ago, Mini Terrain Domain was just me. And then I brought Dwight on last year, and then we invited Jordan to join us this year as official partners. We're all equal partners in the Mini Terrain Domain empire, if you will. It's a small empire, but they're all both bring amazing things, including the fact that both Jordan and Dwight are incredible producers. And a 24-hour stream would be possible. I mean, with three of us, that's just 8 hours each. But there's that part of me that's like, well, it's a 24-hour stream. I want to be here for the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard enough. This year's going to be the first year that I'm not producing everything for Jasper's Game Week, and I'm already like, I know this is supposed to be my time to take a break and rest.
But I'm just going to sit here and
I
watch.
don't know how to do that.
But I'm so used to having the controls.
Yeah, that is honestly a very difficult thing for me, or something to get used to, is just giving up control to somebody else. Not that I don't trust them, I trust them
No.
implicitly, but
it's just something about having done it for so long. It's like,
Yeah.
but I do this. I know what I'm doing. There's always the voice at the back of your head that's always going, "Oh, you're fine. You don't need the help."
well, that was the great thing about adding Dwight when I did. Is Dwight is the one that when I say no, I'm fine, I can do this myself, and he goes, "Yeah, I hear you. You're taking a break." We joke that he's the Robert Koo. Robert Koo was, for those that don't know, several years ago, he was the sort of business guy and event coordinator for Penny Arcade, and he sort of kept them on track with a lot of things. And so, Dwight is my Robert Koo. Dwight. Well, at this point, Dwight's just my Dwight. He keeps everything. He keeps everything organized, and I'm such a.
You have to be nice,
legitimately,
because
this ADHD personality. I'm always out here in the clouds, and he handles a lot of the admin stuff. Jordan handles the community.
We'll ask him all these questions next week. We'll get to the truth.
Right.
He'll be honest saying, "Yeah, oh god, that Jake caught, yeah."
I totally forgot Dwight's coming on next week. Forget everything I've said.
He called him. Like, it says we call him Dwight.
Yeah, that started as a slip of the tongue. So Dwight and I are IRL friends. We live like 20 minutes apart. We've known each other for close to 10 years, and I was referring to my wife and then talking about Dwight, and I called him my Dwife, and it just stuck. So Dwight is my Dwife.
Brilliant.
Yep, he's my MTD work spouse.
He is the other half. Yep, fantastic. So I just noticed. I just had a quick look at the live chat. Sean TW just called out Dave for no reason. I don't know why. Dave, was that a reference to Control, Sean, or was it something else?
Yeah, Ryan.
Hey Ryan, how you doing?
And
I almost broke what I said. I was going to use all model color, and I grabbed one of my.
On instinct.
Yep, I grabbed. Well, my favorite color to use when working out with browns is Territorial Beige from Apple Barrel Acrylic Crafts. We joked that Territorial Beige, whenever we talk about it, Dwight says that he played bass in Territorial Beige in high school. It sounds like a garage band. But it's one of my favorite colors because it's so versatile. It's that base I use for a lot of the woods and leathers and stuff like that. So I will be using instead brown sand from Vallejo's model color because it's really close to that. A little bit later, but...
Sure. So I'm just following up with Sean. Sean's saying to taking a break. You want me to take a break now? In the middle of the show?
Yeah.
I tend to, when I'm working on something, I tend to... So Sean's worked with me for a number of years through various businesses that I've owned, and he's a good lad. But he's always saying, just give yourself a break. I don't need to. I'm enjoying it. If I'm enjoying it, I sleep when I'm dead. It's that easy.
Yeah. Sean disagrees.
You can't run 7 shows. No one can.
I'm not running 7. Well,
No.
I'm not running. I'm not on each
You
of the
can't
7
go,
shows.
I'm not running well.
No, I've run 2. I've done what Jake's done. I've run 2 completely different campaigns, but both full time, and then I did alternating weeks. And at the start, it sounds like a great idea.
At what point did you go, This might have been not such a good idea.
That was just before we started the Pathfinder campaign. So it's like,
Yeah, because maybe you said when we were doing what's it called? What's the one that we were doing when we were in the office?
Saltmarsh.
Saltmarsh.
Yeah, Jake's also done very, 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 very good Saltmarsh.
Yeah,
don't compare mine to Jake.
No. But you were like, I'm reading 2 books right now, and it's just like a head spin, reading 2 different campaigns at the same time.
I can't read 2 different books at the same time. Never mind 2 different campaigns.
Oh, I've got several books on the go.
Yeah, and then
not only that, but now not only do I have several books. Literally, now we're doing so much streaming with other publishers. I've got other publishers' books on the go. So I've got 2 from D&D. I've got 3 from Pathfinder, because I've got 2 Pathfinders, and a Starfinder. I've got Symbarum, which I'm rereading from Free League. Joe and Will kind of lovingly bought me the Warhammer 40k core rulebook, but it's mostly got pictures, so that's okay.
Yeah, don't worry, that's only small. It's like a
doorstop.
That's a bit like the core rulebook for Pathfinder, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like the books you find in Candlekeep. Pretty much.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when Tomb of Annihilation was coming to the end, I was reading Avernus and Tomb of Annihilation, and you were just like, see? See?
Yeah.
At one time, I was running Tomb of Annihilation, Dawnbringers, which is sort of a hybrid, crosses several different modules. The what I called Legends and Legacies, which was a Lost Mines of Phandelver. And I was looking at starting up a Tyranny of Dragons.
Oh, wow.
So I was actively running 3 campaigns and was thinking about taking on a 4th. There would have been a crossover and then one of them would have finished, but I'd still be running 3 actively while also playing in several, a couple of weekly, a couple of monthly, and a bi-weekly game. I had like 10 different things I was involved in at the same time, either as a player or a DM, and I got to the point where I had to recognize myself. I'm doing a disservice to my players. With each campaign I add, that's less that I can do to focus on this story. And as a streamer, I'm doing a disservice to my audience because I'm just not giving my all in this. Like, I ran a 3-year Tomb of Annihilation campaign without taking a single note. That's just how I run games, how I can run games. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. But at the time, that was the original campaign I was running. With Dawnbringers, I have a few notes. Mostly I rely on my players' notes and the character sheets. They keep meticulous notes and details, so I can reference those if I need to. But mostly I keep everything straight in my head. But with this, what was happening was with my Lost Mines of Phandelver campaign in particular, I could not remember from week to week what happened.
Ooh.
And that's where I said, you know what, I can't keep doing this. For other reasons, the campaign was already, people were having to leave and it started to fall apart, and it was for the best. So with Candlekeep, I'm actually doing something I've never done before, and that is keeping a detailed set of physical campaign notes. Digital, most likely. But I'll have a full set of campaign notes that I use for this game, so I don't lose track of things.
What are you using to keep to? Are you using a tool or just like Word or?
I'll probably initially. I'm setting some things up in Google Sheets,
Yep.
just because my notes will still be very sparse. But it will help me. Basically, I'll have a tab for each of the players and a general tab. And so with the player tabs, I can annotate who has certain things, hooks, things that have affected them, etc. We're going to be keeping I'm keeping an actual calendar of Harptos for Faerun. So I'll be tracking the passage of time in world.
Very nice.
All that kind of stuff. I mean, I usually do that, but it's kind of like at a certain point, it's like, I don't know, that happened like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We
I've
have
never
no
done that,
idea.
but I've played with the idea of doing it.
If Waterdeep makes use of the calendar, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, because you are, with Waterdeep Dragon Heist, there's basically 4 variations of the adventure in there, determined by what season you play in. And that determines who the BPEG is and all of that kind of stuff.
I enjoyed Water. I've read Waterdeep. I haven't yet played it either I haven't run it or played it, but I've read it and I like it.
Yeah.
Going back to something you said earlier, players that take notes are like the best.
Yes.
I find my notes rubbish.
Oh, I'm whenever I play, I'm awful with my note taking. Don't get me wrong.
I really try. And some weeks I'm just like, this is good, these notes are good, there's highlighting, and I know what's happened. And then sometimes.
And then you go back the next week and you're like, what?
Who? What's that say? Who? But I've definitely got the loot. I mean, the loot's written down.
Yeah.
The important stuff. But no, sometimes I'll write maybe 2 lines and loads of stuff will have happened. And I'm just like, I can't remember what happened.
So innkeeper, and you never see them again.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I did not need to write that down.
is that really the only note I wrote that whole session?
My favorite way of taking notes in it, we played all the way through Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and we played that game for close to 2 years. I played one of my favorite characters, 6 days until summer, at the Tabaxi Bard College of Swords.
Yeah, very nice.
He was not very intelligent, nor was he wise, but he could tell stories like nobody's business. And when it came to note-taking, the only notes I wrote down were things that Six specifically witnessed, and I wrote them in a way that I thought Six would remember these things. And yes, that was 100% a cop-out for poor note-taking. I recognized it, but I said, you know what? This is going to work. Yeah. And if I felt there was a scene in which Six was distracted by what was happening, and maybe not paying super close attention to the details, I would deliberately not write things down.
In the past, I have kind of tried to write things down after the session, write down what happened, but from the point of view of my character. But sometimes that just doesn't happen. And then once I've let it drop once, it's really hard to get back on it again.
Yeah, I've got some friends that are just incredible at note-taking. One of my friends, Tamiko, she's always in our... She's a friend, but also just in all of our shows. In the audience, and she plays on a couple of streams. We had another streamer run a Curse of Strahd campaign for over a year on my channel on Fridays, and she played in that one. And for that campaign, which they went over 50 or 60 sessions, she wrote a novel's worth of notes for that campaign. It was incredible, the detail that she had in her notes. I am envious of people that can take notes like that.
Well, Sharon, you were doing that with our Storm King's Thunder.
I was, yeah, with Cariad. I like doing it, but I have to do it straight away, which I find quite difficult when we're doing Runelords, because when we finish, I want to go to bed.
Yep.
No, but it is good, and it's quite nice to do something creative, which is a long following along what I'm doing, something else creative.
Yeah.
Because way back when I was younger, I did want to be a writer, and it's one way that I can pretend I'm a writer.
I was just rewinding some of the live chat. And Chef Hunter called me Dwave. Oh dear. We do not need that one. That is not something new. And then Last Son is saying, who's Jeff from our Runelords campaign, that if I die, they will just raise dead me on me.
Yeah, we've got to finish. We've got to finish the campaign.
Yeah.
You're not going to be allowed to rest until then.
So one of the things I'm planning on doing with Candlekeep, or rather that we're gonna try and see if it works out, is I would like my players to, I would like them to have each week have one of them write a summary of the game session, and we're going to be posting them in our Discord, eventually on the MTD website. That isn't a thing yet, but the idea is that we'll have a continuous running record that is from the players, each one. So there's 5 players, so they would only have to write this, every 5th week. They would have to write one of these summaries. So we're going to try that out and see how that goes.
It's a nice idea. Yeah, I like that. I've been doing with the Runelords. We started introducing like a session 0 before the start of each chapter, just so the players can metagame properly.
Go through our notes and go, what the hell?
Metagame properly. Yeah, I mean, at the start of every episode, we had a Cork report or Cork's diaries at the start of to Annihilation, didn't we? Weird recap.
Is he going to do that again for Avernus?
I don't know. I haven't actually spoken to him about it yet.
Just bring it on him.
Yeah.
He's not in chat, so he won't know.
Be a nice surprise for him.
Yeah. How long we got left, Dave?
We are 20 past.
Oh, what, half an hour?
Yep, about that. At the moment, I'm working on the cloak. Or the cloak. Coat cloak thing.
It's definitely not my finest work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, Sharon. Remember, it's not a speed run. You don't have to finish. It's just about learning the techniques and going with the flow and just having a chill and chat.
Chav Hunter's asking why it's called West. Is that game type called West Marches? I think it's because you start off from a base and then you march off in a random direction, and it's almost like a way to do one shots with a group and to have other people join and leave and stuff. You ever heard of West Marches?
I've heard of it. I don't actually know anything really about it. But what I do know is kind of what you've just said.
Yeah.
So it's like a long-running thing where people can dip in and out.
Mm-hmm. I think it was designed as a way to run games at a comic book store or somewhere like that.
Mm.
Where you might have returning people, but not the same people every week. Oh, someone says, Cole Spark says, I think it was invented by a guy that was running a campaign just set in a place called West Marches. Could probably be the answer as well.
Your answer was good. Stick with that.
Yeah, the way I always understood it was, that it's a West Marches style campaign is essentially the drop in, drop out campaign. It's an open sandbox, no real set of rules, or rather, no real set of players and characters, just whoever's available. And you might, rope in some of those campaign story elements. But it's going to be more of an opportunity, perfect for game stores, for people, whoever's there to just drop in and play whatever. Which to me sounds exhausting as a DM. So I don't know if in those styles, if they have revolving DMs or what.
Yeah, I'd never thought about that actually. Well, is it the same person that runs it, or is it? That must be difficult to do.
Me and some friends were looking at a game type where you don't know who the big bad guy is until the very end. And it means that if you've got a group of friends that all want to play and that you've got 2 or 3 DMs, you basically, each DMs a session and you add in clues and bits of information about the big bad guy at the end. And then when it comes to the end, the last DM can then say that, that bit of information that you got was true, that bit of information that you got was a lie, and basically piece together this bad guy from the information that everybody's sort of thrown into the pot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Chav Hunter says the BBEG was Dave.
Yeah, I got called evil for killing off the NPC in our first Avernus game the other night.
How could you?
It's not evil.
Yeah. They were like, you made us like him and everything, and then you just killed him off.
Took him away.
Yeah.
I have an NPC in a short mini campaign that I was told in no uncertain terms that if I do anything to this NPC, the players will revolt. Because
noted.
well, this group turned out to be, as for our Harper's Tale mini campaign,
Sir Cheddar, someone say.
And, yep, Sir Cheddar, the corgi, the dire corgi wild sorcerer.
No, you definitely can't kill the dire corgi.
Nope. Not only did the players, but the audience has told me, everybody has told me that if you do anything to Sir Cheddar, we will revolt. And this is a group that has gotten through the entire campaign so far without killing a single thing.
Wow.
Wow.
They beat the bandits to stop them, but let them live and let them go. They've fought when they needed to in a defensive style, but they are the most wholesome adventuring group. In fact, TTRPG Gifts, a small channel on Twitter, had some kind of mini awards. I didn't even look to see what happened with that, but we had the scene where they met Sir Cheddar was nominated for most wholesome scene because it was just wonderful. He was a corgi with a Scottish accent. It was adorable.
Sean's saying, yeah, that was cold, Duffy. I just built up this NPC and he was one that had the comic book that he'd given over, or the colouring book. But he told like a story that his mum had told him when he was little and stuff, and like all this and the other. And
he was kind of innocent as well.
Yeah. And then this imp turned up and basically said, he's gonna die, and if you let it happen, I'll give you something.
So you did give the players a choice. So it's not just you.
Yeah.
I did put in our long-running Dawnbringers campaign at the end of our previous season. They all experienced a shared vision and it was sort of this mid-level campaign thing where they had visions. It was kind of at the time Golthias, the vampire, was the bad guy that they were dealing with, and he was basically revealing everybody's secrets by making them all have a shared vision. But in doing so, they found out things that none of them knew, which was how they were all, over the course of 100 years, manipulated into being in this scenario. And they were all manipulated by their patron, which is a bronze dragon by the name of the Lady Vantage, who appears often to them as a elven woman. And we have a wizard who is named Fig, short for Figure 2 Prometheus, who is a clockwork wizard, basically a warforged, but we kind of reflavored it a bit. And they have been piecing together as their backstory that they were one of 3 constructs, and they found 2 of them. They found the Mind Stone from one of them. They found the I forget what it was right now. The other stone they found from the other one, but there's a third stone, which is the Heart Stone. And they found that this stone exists within the heart of their dragon patron. So if they want to get this Heartstone, they're going to have to kill their patron.
Nice.
Or find some other way to do it. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing to see play out when it does eventually. But yeah, I like giving the players a choice in those scenarios. Sometimes you got to pull the rug out from under them.
Oh yeah.
So, Jake, I have a question about the mini. The armour that's on her leg and her gauntlets, are you planning to do that kind of silver, or is that white?
I've been reading it as white.
Yep.
I'm actually thinking about doing it all in gold.
Just do the whole thing like a solid piece.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. But I'm stalling enough that I won't have to make that decision today.
Well, I will make that decision.
I, after painting mine gold, realised how much I hate painting gold. I literally started and was like, oh yeah.
I find that the way gold works best is if you have something that you're going to have some predominant gold coloring to, paint it in a flat black first.
And then gold over the top.
And then dry brush the gold. Don't paint it solid gold. I've done that with some... Oh, jeez. Snacked my light over. Some metallic pieces here. This is a treasure chest that I 3D printed and painted in solid gold. And then I put like a sepia wash over it. And I just don't like the way it looks all solid like this. And but here's where I used it sort of an antique gold with a dry brushing effect on it. And so you get a lot of that shadow and the black that stays in there, and you get that sort of aged metallic look, regardless of how bright your metal is. Because I did it with a sort of an aged platinum, and I did it with a copper as well. And it's one of my favorite effects to use if I paint treasure piles that are pre-sculpted. WizKids has a handful of minis that come with these treasure piles, and it's a great way to put your black down, then go over it with your gold, and then pick out a few coins with copper or silver, pick out some gemstones with some bright spots of color, and then go. You can take it another step and go over the gold with like a sepia wash, and it'll give it that kind of a sepia. it'll take some of the harshness of the gold down a bit. You know, if I'm being honest, I'm not happy with how the flesh tone turned out on this. It just makes her look dirty. So I may have to go back in and I don't know how well that shows up on here. I'll see if I can. I don't know if I can get that to show up or not.
No, it's not.
When do the minis need to be done by? I think we got 15 minutes.
Yeah, just under 15 minutes to go. Again,
we say 20?
It's not a no. it's not a speed run. Literally, I was going to say we all are. I definitely am an amateur. This is literally, I'm still in single numbers with minis we've painted. I literally started with the first episode. This is episode 8 in total. And we did one hangout, but it was kind of going back and repainting the same mini, really. So we've not done mini. So it's just kind of learning. So the idea, for those of you who don't know, the idea behind the Great British Brush Off was I have a lot of unpainted minis, the Box of Shame and whatever you want to call it, I have it.
Pile of Potential.
Yeah, I call it anything but that. And it was like, well, yeah, it's so easy. Just watch these people do it. And you watch their videos, and you think, but that looks amazing. And they're all humble and say, yeah, but I've only been doing it for not long. You think, but that looks amazing. Am I going to spend all that money to kind of get the paints, get some minis, get the paint brushes, give it a go? And it's nowhere is it going to look as good as what you see people on YouTube. So I went the other direction. I said, well, rather than hit the brick wall, let's go over the brick wall. Let's get those artists to teach me how to paint. So
the best way to do it.
Somehow I got on that list.
It is, yeah. You can blame V on that one.
It's one of those occasions where like comparison is the thief of joy, and if you worry about getting things right or being perfect first time, you're just never gonna start.
You're never gonna do it. Yeah. So jump in, do it. Don't procrastinate. Don't say you'll do it when you're ready or you do it in 6 months' time.
Yeah, because you'll never be ready.
And you may not have the opportunity to do it again. And luckily, all the artists that I spoke to said, yeah, come on. So we started chatting. And it's been really fun. Again, there's no conventions. It's lockdown everywhere. We're in the UK. Jake's in the States. But we managed to kind of make everything work. We've been talking to people in Australia, Germany, Canada, America, literally all over the world. It's been really fun. And I just hope it continues for a bit longer.
Yeah.
Because we're not out of it yet, folks.
One of the worst things you can do is compare yourself to others pretty much in anything.
Yeah.
It's just if you start comparing yourself to other painters, like Sharon said, it's a thief of joy. You're just not going to have fun with it. You have to recognize where your skills lie, recognize that you're starting, and you can always learn new things. And you're never going to know if you don't just pick up the brush and start putting paint down. I think I mentioned that when I was on last time. I had a
Yep.
dragon mini that I stared at for 2 years because I was terrified to paint it. And then one day I said, screw it, I'm going to do it. And I went out and that was a case. I know somebody had asked earlier if I use spray primer. I laid all the pieces out, primed it, and then I put them in front of where I normally work on my desk so that I would see them all the time. And then I just grabbed some paints, figured out what kind of color scheme I wanted to do, and I just did it. And it turned out pretty darn well, if I do say so myself.
GW are the king of unpainted deck, people have. Yeah, I think that's probably right. And the other thing I'd say is keep your first mini that you ever painted. Don't repaint it.
Yeah, you can see how far you've come.
Because then you can look at it and go, look how much better I am now to where I was when I first started.
Oh, I mean, definitely. The like, you know, I've only been doing this for a short time, but actually just having a regular couple of hours where you, and if, you know, you can't, it's not like something, I mean, some people trying to do it with music on, some people do it in front of put the telly on or something like that. I'm not sure how much TV you can actually watch while you're painting.
You can't. I put the TV on quite a lot of the time, and it's just it's background noise.
Yeah. So, but having like what we're doing here, a few friends over, and doing some painting, it's really good. You can have a chat, and you can do it for a couple of hours, and you think you've done something. You've, you know, achieved something. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be brilliant.
I think that's the thing you need to remember, though, and it's really hard to remember. You don't have to be amazing at something. You can just do it and enjoy it, and
just do it.
Yeah,
and that's enough.
These are not.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm certainly not doing these for exhibitions or anything. This is purely tabletop. Tabletop fun for me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of learn a new skill, and it's also, for me, it's kind of challenging perfectionism a little bit. It's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect.
And well, I think I said before, if you put a painted mini on the table, your players are going to appreciate the fact that it's painted.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be like looking at its tiny little imperfections that you'd probably like scrutinize with a... Yeah.
I keep having to tell myself, you know, I paint with these magnifiers on. I can see every little thing I do wrong. Nobody's going to be looking at my mini on the table at 5 times magnification like I am while I'm painting it. So yeah, some of these details that I obsess over when I'm painting it, I try to do like I'm doing now, is pull away the goggles and go, oh, you can't even see that. What am I worried about?
I'd like this comment from Baron Sharon. It sounded like you said that Harrison is the thief of joy.
Yeah,
I said no such thing.
It did sound like
Honest.
it. It did sound like it. I thought that's exactly what you said. It's like, hang on, eh?
It's a bit of a bitchy thing to say. Josh isn't even here to defend Harrison. Josh, I did not say Harrison is the thief of joy.
You did. We'll clip it later for you.
Harrison is a constant source of delight, mainly because he'll do things like standing up in front of a crowd of people and saying, "I'll be mayor."
He was thinking about the money. Okay, we are down to the last 4 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Really? You sure?
Baker, well, I was going to say, bakers, you have 4 minutes. Painters, you have 4 minutes.
I'm more likely to twitch if you say bakers. You have 4 minutes. Oh, God.
It's like when we started, it really sounded like you was going to be like contenders.
Brushes down.
Yeah.
Wow, what color was that? I'm painting over the face and the skin tones, because I don't like the way that flesh wash went on. And I glanced over and I thinned out what I was thinking was the flesh tone that I used, but it's actually the brown sand, and I don't hate it. Because I thinned it out, it's going on almost like a glaze over this flesh tone, and muting the stuff that I didn't like. So this might work, and it's going to give the mini that sort of olive skin that the original character has. That sounded like I knew what I was talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you sound like you know what you're talking about, everyone will just trust you.
Yep. See, you told everybody there's 4 minutes left, and everybody got really quiet. They're all focusing in on getting those final details in.
Trying to get the hundreds of thousands on their fairy cakes.
You've never watched the Bake Off, have you?
No.
You really never watched the Bake Off?
No, of course I have.
Oh yeah, I was
I
going to say
made a show
I'm
based on it.
disappointed.
Come on.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you watched it. That just means you've heard the name.
As an avid watcher, I used to love that program.
Yeah.
Then it moved to Channel 4.
It's not as good on Channel 4.
Not as good. It's still alright though.
Yeah.
I just don't like the fact it takes, an hour
Twice
and
as
a half
long.
now, 'cause
Yeah.
of bloody
Oh no, I just record it and then start watching it 15 minutes later.
Right, cool.
Do I get a pass for having never seen it?
You do, because it's not. You have to watch it on Netflix, I think.
You don't need
In the
to
US?
because you're on this show. this show will do twice as big as.
Out of interest, which one of us is Paul Hollywood?
That would be Jake.
Okay, good. Good, right answer.
I do like watching some of the British quiz show or panel shows on YouTube. I've been going through for over a year now. I've been going through as they release them, the Taskmaster show.
Oh, Taskmaster. I was
Yeah.
going to suggest you to watch Taskmaster. It's
Oh yeah, I've been
Very
watching.
good.
They've been releasing them officially, and I think they have to wait to a certain point where they're cleared. So I'm up through series 8 or 9, I think.
so good.
And I just love it. And they handled the pandemic amazing with the stay-at-home stuff, with the with all of the at-home tasks they did. It was brilliant.
Like James Acaster on that is so good.
Oh yeah, there's just so many that are great on there. Yeah, James Acaster really stuck out.
Okay, painters, you can put your paintbrushes down.
Oh, can I not have one
What?
more minute just
Really?
to finish off doing this magic?
To the benefit of me and Sharon painting this whole time too is we haven't really been looking at what your progress has been. At least I haven't. So
I've got no idea what anyone else's looks like.
You will find out in a sec. You get to judge the runner-up. And keep your Runelords character alive.
No pressure
Wow.
at all.
Leverage.
If Sharon, if anything happens to your Runelord's character because of this, just let me know. I'm running an elemental one shot, and I will absolutely make sure that Dave's character doesn't make it.
He will also not get, when we do meet up again, he will not be getting any cakes at all.
Don't give him any cake. Don't give him any cake. Alright, that's it.
Okay. Here we go. Right, so. Everybody. Pens down. Robocop.
Yeah, I'm just cleaning my brushes. I'm just cleaning my brushes. Look, I'll take my helmet off.
He's human after all. The
You
only
know, I'm
thing
not
inside
painting
is
now.
a
I can't
head.
see anything.
Okay, right. What we're going to... Oh, where's my glasses? On my head. What we're going to do is... it's weird looking back at the screen. What we're going to do is we'll switch the cameras around so we can... obviously, we're using Zoom, so we're going to we're going to pin the mini to the big screen. And then Jake can see everyone's mini. That's really weird way to say it. But we're going to start with Jake. And then we'll have a look at what Sharon's done, and then we'll go through with me, Steve, and Joe. We'll keep it nice and simple because it's in a row. Right. So we will switch to this camera. There we go, and we will pin Jake to the middle. Okay, Jake, can we see if we can get a close up of the mini?
My mini?
Yeah, we're going to start with yours just to have a look, see what you did, see what you've done.
All right, let's see how
See if
close
it'll
we can get
focus.
here. Is it focusing in at all?
It's just not having... I can definitely see the black and the what are they called? Pauldrons? The armor on the
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah, I'm not sure why
The white tip
not-
boots.
focusing. Yeah, I went with more of a leather boot, the black bodysuit, and I had just finished up redoing the flesh tone. Some of my decisions were made based on trying not to get paint onto the magical effects, because as you've all noticed by now, the cape brushes up against that, and you gotta kind of think about that. So, but I'm pretty happy with where it is right now. Oh, there it just randomly popped into focus.
Yeah.
But I'll post after the show here. I'll post a couple pics in the Discord,
Yeah.
so you can see better look of what I did, and
That's
judge
good.
me
Looking
not
good.
too harshly.
You will be judged. Okay, and Sharon, I've got to find your minicam. I will pin that. There we go. You're upside down. Let's have a
I'm
look.
upside down. I can't do anything about that. I can. Is that better?
No, that's fine. Go back to where you were. You were fine.
Okay, there we go. This is
See if you
now
can
mine's
get
not in
to-
focus. Damn you, focus. So this is mine. I think I went a bit too gung ho with.
You did a lot of painting
Get
though.
paint
You've got,
on.
yeah, you got some. You
Yeah.
got the hair. I didn't get to the hair.
So yeah, I think I should probably have done it a bit slower. And the cape, it was a bit wet, so it's kind of smudged down. It's very annoying. So I have to go through and tidy up and make it pretty. And I was a bit daunted by the magical effects, so I thought I'm not going to do that one.
I like it. I mean, getting a sense through the camera, like the equivalent of seeing it from the tabletop. It looks great seeing that much more color on it than I have on mine.
Yeah.
But I also I don't think you went too far. I can't talk and continue to paint.
Multitasking is hard and shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. There we go. Kind of in focus now.
There's not much you didn't get paint on there, so it looking really good.
Yeah.
Well done, Sharon. Okay, so Let's remove the pin. Gallery with my... Right, so we'll start with me. So this one is ready to be judged. Here we go. So remember, Jake gets to pick the star painter, but you, the audience, along with Sharon, get to pick the runner-up. And we stick it on this thing. There we go. Might be able to move around better. So if that is showing up, okay. Let's move that out of the way.
Ooh, swanky.
That's
All
looking
right,
good,
give us the old 360 there.
So it's got. I've painted the pauldrons gold. The boots are brown. I never got to like the knee guard or the fluffy top at the bit of the boot. The hair is still pale. The sword I haven't done. The sword that's kind of tucked into the belt I haven't done. But yeah, I went for the black bodysuit, blue cape. I think the bronze flesh tone is a little bit too orange. And then I've used an ink wash on the kind of the magic.
Can I just say, I think that hair looks good in white.
I think it
It
does
looks
actually.
intentional.
Yeah.
If I had to say from here, I'd say you've painted the hair white intentionally, and it actually looks really good.
You can see there's a blob on it. Just
I can't see it from here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't
but you
tell.
can cover that up with a bit of grey.
yeah. And you can see like behind the cape there's a bit of blub on the magic, but yeah. I like
Looking
painting
good.
the
Alright.
transparent. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you use an ink on that?
I did, yeah. That's just an ink.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that the magical effects. That's why I didn't get into it too much with you guys, because last time we went over that with water and fire elementals, we really got into that stuff. So by now you should be experts at it.
Yeah, we're all pros now.
See, I didn't talk about it at all, but that's solely what I'm judging you on is your magical effects.
Right, Steve, we're going to see if we can pin yours. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, let's try and bring that down a bit. So out of the way.
Oh, nice. Yeah, with green.
So, is it going to focus? I did get paint everywhere. I haven't washed, in literal sense as well, yeah. I haven't washed or dry brushed it. So I went for brown
Just
brown
keep
bodysuit.
it to the mini, not personal hygiene.
Be fun. Yeah, so I went for brown bodysuit and darker brown boots and darker again for the belt. I went for fur top boots. I've done the pauldrons in black with gold trim. So I've picked up the sword that's on there in gold and I've edged it in gold as well. It's not showing up as much on the camera as I would have hoped. The hair, I didn't get to put any detail in. I was going to do some like gold bands and stuff. Didn't get to doing that. I did do the cloak, did the scroll, did the sword with gunmetal, and it's got a gold hilt. This hasn't been washed at all. The only wash I've put on it is a green, and unfortunately it's pulled in some areas, so I didn't quite get it sorted out. The idea for going with green was I was going to do sort of a green flame blade, and I think my camera's now packed up because, oh no, there we go. I was going to go for a green flame blade type effect, so I might do some white dry brushing on that. I haven't decided yet.
Nice.
But yeah, I got paint everywhere, which is, I guess,
Oh,
quicker
so
than
people
we have
going to know
done
you've been
before.
painting.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But no wash, didn't get to put any wash in it at all, or any dry brushing.
Cool. Well done, Steve.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, let's do that one. Let's do that one. And Joe, you are there. Pinned. Wow, okay, so you went with the other mini. Very nice.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So I went for a blue cape. My plan is to, on these black underbits, to do a sort of chainmail silver. I'll try and do it like the edging of the cape. I don't know, and maybe purple or something that will go with the blue, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just about got to a wash, and that was about it. So, yeah. I hadn't really done much to the flame other than put the ink on it. Is it picking up?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a flame sword, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
But they haven't
What-
put... Yeah, the whole thing.
I think the sword is like this bottom bit at the bottom, but the whole
Yeah.
thing's translucent. So I think you might have to go through and paint it afterwards. That's my thought process.
That's nice. The holy symbol stands out quite well with the gold,
Does.
actually.
Yeah, I like the blue that you've gone for on the robes. That's a nice
Yeah.
blue. Is that with a wash over it?
Yeah, but the blue is almost like an ink when I put it on. I don't know whether it was maybe I hadn't shook it enough or
Is it the imperial blue? That one.
yeah, I
that's
think
what
so.
I used, yeah. I used it last week as well. It's a lovely colour.
Yeah, yeah, so, yeah.
Cool. Well
Very good.
done.
I like that.
So we will go back to our normal screens, which is this one. So, Jake, over to you. We can now be judged, and I can step away from the desk.
All right. So, looking at what all of you did, it's interesting how everybody took slightly different approaches. Joe taking the biggest different approach by painting an entirely different mini than everybody else. But that's fine because we were all working within a lot of the same elements. You had the fire element to work with, where we all had the magical effect of the undefined magical effect, really. From my perspective, I don't know Pathfinder as well, so maybe that's an obvious spell to others, but it has a definite a fiery look to it. Everybody went with some variations of the gold highlights. I saw a couple different shades of gold. Some of you chose to focus in on certain details, applying washes. Steve, you went with more of what a lot of painters call blocking. It's almost a blocking approach where you put your base colors in on everything first, knowing that you're going to go in later and add washes, highlights. Some people wouldn't even necessarily use washes on these. They would go in and just do manual highlighting and shading and things like that, or go in with a really fine tip brush to go in and add those shadow elements with wash. I liked everybody's minis. Everybody had some really great approaches to everything. I agreed, Dave. I agree that you left the hair white, but with a little bit of touch up, you could absolutely, that model could work with as a white-haired model as well. Where others tend to go for, I think because it picks out color well, a lot of people go for the auburn hair. Black is harder to do.
Yeah.
But looking at what all three of you did and having to pick one of you as the ultimate winner, I think this week I am going to give that gold star to Steve. I liked the overall color choices. I liked the full on the fact that you color blocked everything. You had gives you a great sense of what you want to do with your final model, and you chose to go with a completely different effect for the fire. I think you said you were kind of going for a green flame blade kind of thing, and that's the beauty of magic. You can apply any color you want to it. But I really liked overall. I think yours stood out just a little bit further than the other two. But all of them looked great.
Well done, Steve. That's 2 stars in a row. Well done. Now we get to pick. So Sharon, along with you, the live audience, you get to pick between me and Joe.
No.
Let me remind Sharon again whose character is on the line.
Are you putting a vote up? Steve?
Yeah, it will be up.
What's the shortest
in fact,
times?
it's going to be up for 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Right, go on then,
Right,
Steve.
so the vote
2
is
minutes.
now. It's in chat. And away you go. Vote away.
Not looking good for you at the minute, Joe.
Is this where
it's-
Sharon spends all her bits?
Yeah, this is where the channel points come in.
Sharon's got. I've got to keep Yelena
It's-
alive.
I tell you what, it's pretty close. It is pretty
Yeah.
close.
It's now close.
Just nah.
It'd be even worse if I was playing in the Avernus campaign as well. It's like, can there be a draw?
I'm getting so much lag. I haven't had the verdict. Yeah, that's there hasn't been one yet, Varda.
Well, the gold star
very
went
close.
to the gold star went to Steve. Silver star.
It's currently neck and neck for public vote on the Silver Star. I think there's some vote rigging going on.
Is it Dave? Dave's just like
I don't know how to do it. If I could, I probably
Tell
would,
Dave
but I
that
don't.
he's infinite channel points.
Oh, it's bang on. It's
yeah.
bang on.
It's a dead heat.
Oh, it's still bang on.
It was now 50-50. I just saw that one. Yeah.
come on.
See,
it's
this
jelly.
is the point where now there's shenanigans going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
People are keeping it.
People are,
People are wise to the show. Like, you vote. Oh no, give another one. Oh no, get
yeah,
one.
let's
Get
just make it.
It's
Oh,
going to be
it's
decided by the
nearly up,
public.
it's nearly up.
Oh,
that is it.
Joe
The die has
won.
been cast.
Well
Joe
done.
by the nose.
By one vote.
I like the way Jeff gave 3,000 points to Joe. Cheers, Jeff.
It's because he knows what side his bread's buttered as well. He is a player on my games.
He's a player of mine. I've known him since we were
Yeah.
4. Cheers. You know, cheers. I'll get you, General Zod.
I
Right.
gave more to Dave, he says. We'll look at the stats later, Jeff.
Yeah. Either way, Tolkien or Wukong, one of them's gonna. Like, one of them's done. That's it. One of them's done. Right. Thank you very much. That's the end of the show. Hope you enjoyed it. It's been great for us. Thank you, Jake, for coming back. We'll be seeing Dwight next week from MTD, Mini Terrain Domain. So it'd be good to get the whole family on. And hopefully we'll get to talk to you, chat to you, and we'll do more stuff with you at a later date, hopefully. And
Absolutely.
best of luck with everything that's going on with Jasper's Game Day. We're going to be doing some stuff with Jasper's Game Day too. We're teaming up with Australia, the entire country. We're going to team up with, so we'll let you know when we know more details. We'll let everyone else know. And Sharon, how did you find that, Sharon?
Good,
You pretty
yeah.
much finished the mini.
I did not finish the mini, and I should have taken more time, and then it would have less paint on it, but I'd probably be happier with it. But I'll go back and I'll tidy it up.
Good. Stick there's some photos out on socials, or stick them on Discord, whatever you want to do.
Will do.
And we'll keep
Will do.
posted. At some point, we'll be doing another brush off hangout, and we will get to finish the other mini and do some other things. And we've got zombie beholders on the go as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what we're painting
Awesome.
next week?
next, I don't have it open in front of me, and Steve might say the wrong thing. So
I'm not going to say the wrong thing because I know it's not Jamie next week.
it's Dwight next week. You're just
It's
waiting for
Dwight
Jamie
next
to come on.
Then I'll still get it wrong.
I'll wait until it's actually there and say, yeah, it's on. Right, what are we painting? What are we painting next week? With Dwight, we are painting the half-orc male barbarians.
Nice.
All right. Some
now,
orc boys.
Joe likes painting the orcs, so he has a bit of practice on this. So we'll see. It could be a challenge, but we did paint orcs on our second show, I think it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll
And you did a very, very good orc.
Yeah.
I was surprised how good it turned out, actually. Maybe I should use the greens, but we'll see. But anyway,
that was a good week, that one.
Thank you guys. Yep.
thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you to both of our guests, and if whenever we'll see you next time. Come back tomorrow for Vessen. See you all then. Bye bye.
Bye.